Eric Dieter's the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I got to say good morning to Bulldog Nation member Jeremy and all his buddies on the barge who said they'll be listening. You know what? There is nothing that's a bigger high than knowing. Well, I don't know about the highs you've achieved in your life, TC, but
I'm pretty short.
To know that there's some people out there listening who are counting on some superbity to make their day better. And you know what? I don't think there's any better way to make your day better than to show up at a Dairy Queen sometime in Ohio and have Joe Biden buying you an ice cream.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that yesterday?
No, what happened?
He went to a Dairy Queen just off the cuff and started buying people ice cream cones and milkshakes and whatnot. And everybody was kind of like, whoa, the vice president's here.
Trying to buy your vote, huh?
I tell you, I love Joe Biden. He was talking the other day about his, my mom had dreams too. I ain't gonna be a millionaire. He goes, everybody calls me, middle class Joe. Well, I want to be more than just middle class Joe.
But
you gotta love. Yeah. I am not kidding you. I love Joe Biden.
So do I.
And you know what? I wish he was president because I don't care what anybody says. Joe's pro-union and he's all those things, but I don't think he's a socialist.
No, and you know what? You just gave me a great idea. In 2016, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton.
Absolutely.
Now, Joe, I like what he said because a few weeks ago we were talking about that. I don't mind the fact that Mitt Romney is rich. I want to be rich myself. We all want to be rich. Hey, how did you do it, Mitt?
Hey, but what's funny is Joe Biden's kind of playing into Mitt Romney's hands a little bit because Mitt Romney could say, well, look, even your vice president wants to be rich. I mean, it's kind of funny.
Well, who doesn't?
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
Who doesn't? And let's face it, folks, everybody out there, the American Jerry Bulldog Nation, that there are always issues in our lives that have nothing to do with money. I mean, it's just relationships, family. But, there's a lot of issues and a lot of stress that come down upon every American that's money related. I mean, you losing your job, paying your mortgage, making your car payment, the unexpected medical bills, the unexpected bills in business, meeting a payroll. I mean, I like the line where somebody said that money's not everything, but you can choose your misery. I mean, you can choose your misery.
Well, the one, I don't know the philosopher who said this, but there's a great quote, poverty sucks.
Oh, it does. Just like cancer. Cancer sucks. Poverty sucks.
Exactly.
And it does. And when you think about all the stigmas and all the problems and issues that come along with that, I mean, it's bad. I mean, it's just something else. I'll tell you what we're going to do because it's Friday. We're going to do the joke because it's so darn good. And then we're going to do pop culture.
All right.
I got to get everybody off to a laughing start. All right. Jack and Betty were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Betty, said Jack, I was wondering on our 50th anniversary, I just been wanting to ask you, have you ever cheated on me? Now, I just want to tell you, TC, I'm going to stop right here and put this in parentheses. Never ask. I don't want to. At my 50th wedding anniversary, that's the last thing I'm going to ask my wife.
And if you're asked, never give the right answer.
And never give the right answer. Listen to this. Oh, Jack, why would you ask such a question? You don't want me to answer that, do you? Yes, Betty, I really want to know, please. Well, all right, Jack, 3 times. 3? When were they, Jack said. Well, Jack, remember when you were 35 years old and you really wanted to start that business on your own and no bank would give you a loan? Remember how one day the bank president himself came over the house and signed the loan papers, no questions asked? Oh, Betty, you did that for me. I respect you even more than ever that you would do such a thing for me. So, when was number 2? Well, Jack, remember you had that last heart attack and you were needing the very tricky operation and no surgeon would touch you? Remember how Dr. Dabaki came over way up here to do the surgery himself and then you were in good shape again? Betty, I can't believe that. I love that you would do such a thing to save my life. I couldn't have a more wonderful wife to do such a thing. You must really love me, darling. I couldn't be more moved. When was number 3? Well, Jack, remember a few years ago when you really wanted to be president of the golf club and you were 17 votes short? And that's when Jack started crying.
Oh, no, she didn't.
17 votes short. They were lined up. You know, I hate to say this because it's just a joke, right. But I got a great visual of the bank president, the doctor, and these guys lined up in their golf cleats.
Your wife sure does want you to be the president.
All right, we now are going to make the vote for the president. I'd say Jack ought to be the president.
Yep, that's it. Jack.
All right, let's do some pop culture now. Right. We have to start pop culture, and we're going to do a great rest in peace. And as you might expect, the feel-good song might have something to do with this woman.
Yeah.
Donna Summer, the queen of disco, died at 63 after a battle with lung cancer, an illness she believes she contracted from inhaling toxic particles released after September 11th terrorist attacks. Did she go up there to check things out? I don't know the backstory to that.
I don't know. I have to look into that because she was living in Florida, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was in Florida. And you know what, TC? Isn't it weird? At least I find it weird. And I guess maybe the older you get, now that I'm 48, 63 in today's world.
Pretty young.
Seems so young.
It does, yeah.
I mean, like really young. Too young.
Yeah, you're right.
And you know, Donna Summer, what a singer.
Great voice.
What a singer. Taylor Swift donated $4 million to the Country Music Hall of Fame Museum for a music education classroom. You know what? Taylor Swift is not only a great person, she's a great singer. You know, she's doing it right.
Yeah.
And she stays out of trouble. And she's rich.
And everybody loves her.
She's happy. You know what? I hate to make fun of it, but you know, there's so many like the rich people that like have entourages, and they get criticized because of how they blow their money.
Right.
I think having an entourage would be pretty fun. Let's talk about this, TC. If you're a filthy rich, we'll call this the Rich Show. If you're a filthy rich, here are some of the people that I would want in my entourage. All right, I would like to hire the baddest dude that just retired from the MMA as my bodyguard. In other words, I want the baddest guy that can kick anybody's butt. 2, you can tell I've thought about this. I want my masseuse, Kim Guffey, my masseuse is going to be there. I also want a dietitian cook. I mean, I think that would be awesome to say every meal placed in front of you wherever you go is cooked by somebody that really knows what the hell they're doing.
Okay.
Personal trainer.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the only 4 I need in my entourage. Now, what about you? Who would you have in your entourage?
I'd have 4 people.
All right.
The 4 guys carrying wheelbarrows, holding all my money. Because I don't trust the banks anymore.
Well, hey, by the way, that $2 billion that they lost to J.P. Morgan,
right?
We lost another $1 billion somewhere.
Another billion.
I lost another $1 billion.
Diamond, what are you doing?
What? Another $1 billion gone? What?
Look, you can't keep $2 billion and $1 billion in me like this. You can't keep nickel and diming me.
I hate to say this too, but this is funny because we think about $1 billion's a lot of money. And we think about the IPO of Facebook. We're going to talk about that today, $110 billion and all that. But you know what? With all of these budget deficits of like trillion, $1 billion doesn't seem like a lot of money anymore, does it? I mean, I'm being serious. We throw trillions around.
You know, it's kind of, if you think about the
Now,
government.
don't get me wrong. I'd like to have $1 billion.
No doubt. Think about the government's financial woes versus Mark Zuckerberg, okay? Imagine if you're like your next door neighbor just got a promotion, and he just buys a new car, and everything is going great, and his grass is the greenest, and then you get laid off.
You're right.
And you're eating ramen noodles, and he's going out to dinner every night. It's kind of like that's how President Obama must be looking at guys like Zuckerberg. He's like, how is this guy making money, and we can't?
You're right. You know, you're right. American Idol last night, final 2. Joshua Ledet was eliminated, which means Jessica and Philip are the 2 finalists.
Ooh.
Barbara Walters, they did a Betty White roast, fries roast, and I'm telling you right now, is this not hilarious? Barbara Walters. Betty was the first woman to do Shakespeare in the Globe Theater. Literally, she did him in the balcony. Is that not great? Jenny McCarthy, 1993 play. I want to just say now, I had a huge crush on Jenny McCarthy. Well, before she turns 40, she wants to do it one more time. She's going to be in November. She'll be in the July-August issue.
Really?
If you care. Ben Stein said Obama isn't smart, but then he said he's smarter than the average bear. Let me see. Santorum joke. Well, we come back. We'll finish up pop culture. I got some more fun stuff for you. This is the Bulldog. It's Friday. Let's set aside our woes at least for a day on Real Talk 1160.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour at 7:28 this morning, it's Bill O'Reilly's Talking Points right here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Dieter's the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We're an American band. Love this. You get your blood pumping in the morning.
Cowbell in there?
Cowbell. More cowbell. I love that line. All those Chiquitas in Omaha.
Actually, all those Chiquitas are down in North Carolina, aren't they?
Yeah, before I continue the pop culture, the party last night was a big hit. By the way, how many talk show hosts and lawyers in the tri-state do a general invitation to their friends and fans, Facebook, etc., besides yours truly? We had like 5 or 6 fans and Facebook fans just show up. It was cool as heck. They said, "Man, this is pretty cool. You're inviting me, Bulldog," and it was a good time.
Now, you didn't drink the green water, did you?
No, we had the green water on the center for the centerpieces. But we just said, "Do not drink."
It was there for decoration, right?
It was there for decoration.
See, because I know normally you get in about, 3:15, 3:30
Yes.
every morning,
Yes.
and you didn't get here until about 4:45, and I was over. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe you had to go to the hospital.
Did you read any reports on the news? I know you cover the news. Did you see any reports on the news of anybody getting sick from green water?
No, I checked. I checked the hospital records, police reports.
Good.
And it was nothing. There was nothing in the inquiry, so
Thank God.
I was a little nervous. We
were worried about somebody taking those centerpieces home.
Right.
The temptation, it's like standing next to the edge of a cliff, and you're being pulled over to jump. You feel that. It's like when you see that bottle of green water in front of you, it's like, what does it taste like? Taste me, taste me, taste me. It's like to taste me, taste me, taste me.
It won't kill me.
Won't kill me.
Try it.
Listen to this. This is so sick. It's funny. Huffington Post reported that Jimmy Kimmel took this joke out of his bit when he was at the correspondence dinner. Newt Gingrich campaign is so dead. Mitt Romney wants to baptize it, and Rick Santorum wants to put it in a jar and show it to his kids. Oh, that's so bad.
I'm glad we took that one out.
A good thing that you understand why they took that joke out.
Yeah.
A Colorado group is spending thousands to convince people pot is safe. It's an attempt to campaign to regulate marijuana like alcohol to rally support to vote in November. They're having commercials. Hey, pot's, hey, dude. They're having Cheech and Chong come in. Hey, man.
Yeah,
this pot's really safe.
Cheech and Chong, Willie Nelson, Paul McCartney.
Is that hilarious? Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
Isn't it funny when you think of pot, you think of Willie and Snoop Dogg?
And Ron Paul.
Ron Paul. Get this. Now, this will make everybody's blood boil. NASCAR sponsorships banned by the Department of Defense. The military spent $80 million in 2012 on NASCAR sponsorships aimed at recruitment. Give me a break.
Did they really?
$135 million over 5 years has gone to Hendrick Motorsports to sponsor cars like Dale Earnhardt Jr. Man, I don't think the military needs to be spending money on NASCAR.
Really?
Is that hilarious and terrible?
Million?
$80 million last year.
Are they spending that kind of money on the NFL?
Yeah, wouldn't you love to be Hendrick Motorsports? Thank you, government. Hendrick Motorsports is a government-subsidized business.
Now, let's see. Now, NASCAR has a specific audience. Are they targeting that audience?
That's what they claim. They're saying, hey, we can get a lot of recruits out of NASCAR fans, I guess. But come on, man. You don't need to do that. And get this. What happens to Hendrick Motorsports when $80 million jerked? Dale, you got to take a pay cut.
Yeah. You're going to have to ride this instead. Okay?
Now, the sad but true story, I'm going to close pop culture with this report. And, I just want you to know that we all know that death is sad. But let's face it, folks, how you go out makes a difference. And Sister Phillip from Thomas More always told us, boys and girls, she talked to us like kindergartners. You don't want to ever be. I've always remembered this. You don't want to always go someplace that if you're found dead in it would be embarrassment. And I've always thought about that every time I've went someplace I shouldn't. Say, man, I hope Sister Phillips not right that I'm found dead here. But get this. Authorities say a 67-year-old man died. Now, that's not funny that he died. While receiving several lap dances at a strip club in El Paso, Texas. Employees at the club say the man was found unconscious and they tried to revive him. Now, can you imagine the headline out on the marquee at that strip club the next week? Betty Lou, she kills you. I mean, that's sad but hilarious that a guy went after a lap dance.
But you know what? Is there not a better way to go?
No, there's no better way to go.
I mean, which would you rather,
Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, because I don't know either, what is, they're talking about a lap dance here, TC. What's a lap dance?
Well, from what I've read, and because I've never actually.
Right, I understand.
From what I've read, it is when the dancer will, let's say, I guess, take more personal interest in a particular client.
We like more personal interest.
And get very close to that client without the client actually having to do any dancing themselves.
Good description. In local news, a former assistant Warren County prosecutor who became chief legal counsel of the Ohio Department of Public Safety was suspended from practicing law for 6 months Thursday. Get this. Intercepting confidential emails involving federal and state investigations. Now, my God, I bet you people that's pretty darn wrong.
Yeah, it is. How is he able to do that?
I didn't do anything close to that, and I'm going almost 3 months suspension in Kentucky.
Now, remember, we're going to play nice.
I know.
Now, how was he even able to do that without...
Well, his position allowed him to do that. I just think, I wrote a piece about, I forgot what it was, but I talked about that kindergarten. In fact, I need to find that description of the kindergarten rules. Oh, by the way, Brad, could you find and print off for me the Wikipedia on Valerie Jarrett? I tell you, those rules that you learn in kindergarten, you've heard that list before. Like everything in life you learn in kindergarten, like play nice with others,
Right.
I love that bit.
Put the toys away.
I mean, it is really rules, live by. Get this, in Park Hills, Kentucky, Park Hills Police Department is arming itself with a special gun to kill coyotes that pose a threat to residents. Let me tell you something, folks. I live in the country. Coyotes run when they see humans. And what kind of a gun do you... This is a coyote gun. Typical cops, they want to have all the special toys, Oh, this is a coyote gun. What's wrong with a shotgun?
Well, maybe it's a tranquilizer or something.
Yeah.
Take them to the zoo.
Let's not kill the coyotes. Let's just tranquilize them. You know what? If there's one thing I know about kids when they go to the zoo, let's look at the giraffes. Let's look at the monkeys. Let's go look at the coyotes.
Right.
No.
I don't think so.
Nobody wants to go look at the... In fact, I don't think coyotes are at the zoo. Are coyotes at the zoo?
No. I'll just be...
Who wants to... I know you were. Who wants to see coyotes? This is a big, big, big news item, and I'll be honest with you. I might go down there tonight. The 120 million, 45-acre John G. and Phyllis Smale Riverfront Park will open.
Oh, yeah.
I walked down there and saw it the other day. It looks great. The one thing that I don't understand, TC,
what's that?
Is the contractors who built this thing make a fortune. Because I'm looking at that thing and I'm saying, that cost $120 million?
Right.
It looks like a couple million to me.
Well, you've got labor costs, and you've got this, and you've got that, and environmental issues. And
I think when they build these things, the contractors make out. Let's go in. Can Greenwater go into construction business?
We could.
We come back, more Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Greenwater bricks.
Eric Dieters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. TC at the party yesterday.
Yeah.
I had my granddaughter, Riley.
Oh, yeah?
My wife had a board meeting at Grateful Life. And little Riley, I held her for the whole 2 hours.
Did you?
Did not grumble, did not cry, did not pout. I mean, I'm telling you. She's an incredible little 1-year-old little girl.
That was probably her first big fancy business
that is correct.
Party.
Her pop's date. And she was very good. Let's go to the two fat guys. Good morning, fellas.
Morning, Bulldog. How are you?
I want to just relate the health news item in my newsletter today to get your all's perspective. According to USA Today, two fat guys, a whopping 96% of main entrees sold at top U.S. chain eateries exceed daily limits for calories, sodium, fat, and saturated fat recommended by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Is that really true?
Well, there's not enough bacon in there still.
What do you got for us today? It's a beautiful, boy, the weather's been wonderful. Why should people rush into Ace Hardware this weekend?
Oh, it's just gorgeous out, isn't it? You got to get your plants going, your lawn's going. My yard's finally looking good.
Man, my yard's looking good, too.
Get those Weber grills out.
Weber Grills.
Oh, yeah.
What do you, go ahead.
Did you see that Time magazine cover?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Was that you as a boy?
Maybe. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I think Time magazine's just milking it.
Oh, yes, that was good.
And it's the best cover I ever saw. Hey, we better nip this in the bud.
Jeez. You know what? I got to ask you a question. Speaking of breastises, why are men so fascinated with them? Because we don't have them? Because they nurtured us when we were young?
Rick's got them. They're not quite as big as Smokies, though. Yeah, you got some 54Ds.
Are you lactating?
Oh, well, no. What's not to like about them?
So, shall we get back to...
Yeah, let's get back to Ace Hardware.
Memorial Day coming up here pretty soon.
That's
Going to kick off summer with Memorial Day, a brand new Weber grill.
I mean, yeah, the Weber grills.
Thank you,
Hardware's
TC.
got they got the best Weber grills. The big boxes can't get them. They got stainless steel flavorizer bars, stainless steel burners in them. The big boxes don't have those.
Well, we went down to Ace Hardware and bought a Weber grill that we use at our office grill out every week. We have it on Fridays. This week we did it on Wednesday because today wasn't going to work for me. But we use our Weber grill from Ace Hardware every week at the law office. And Chuck loves grilling those hot dogs and hamburgers on that grill.
And then I bet he cleans it with your Bulldog degreaser.
You're right.
There you go.
By the way, at our party yesterday, we were giving away green water and Bulldog's Grease Away.
One safe to drink.
I'm not kidding you. Bulldog's Grease Away cleans everything. My wife used it to clean the bugs off the front of the car, that get hit when you drive. She says, I can't believe this thing cleans everything.
Green water cleans you out.
Yeah. I wonder if it cleans Smokey's bathroom.
Oh, my gosh. We need to come up with a green water, what's it called? A scent.
Hazmat unit.
Yeah, something.
Toilet, huh?
Yeah, what do you guys got on tap for your radio show tomorrow?
We got a lot of fun going on. We got Dr. Dave, the guru of green, and we've got all the Ace Hardwares in Cincinnati now has a new line of commercial-grade herbicides, insecticides, fertilizers called Fertilome and High Yield. It works really well, nice price point. And we've got more on the dog food recall, telling updates on that, and we're just having fun and hoping that everybody has a real safe holiday coming up.
You sound like you got a lot of sides. Insecticide, herbicide, pesticide.
Lots of sides. He's got an extra side.
I just thought of something. We ought to maybe start promoting green water as a liquid fertilizer for lawns. Just think if we got that going, TC.
Yeah, makes your lawn brown in no time at all.
If
you like that kind of
just a tip here. We got a redneck tip that if you've got an ailing plant that you want to try to save, and you have an aquarium, take some of that aquarium water or even some of the fish poop and put it on there, and it'll bring it back to life. It's magic.
Really?
All right.
That's a good tip.
You guys are always good for tips. Well, what's your parting words for the two fat guys nation out there in Ace Hardware?
You got to get into your Ace Hardware. You find your local Ace Hardware on acehardware.com. It's real easy.
All right, guys, you have a great weekend, and may all your Ace Hardware trips be wonderful.
Thanks, Bulldog.
The two fat guys.
He'll be on tomorrow morning starting at 10 o'clock, right after Denny McEwen. And we got Denny from 7 to 10. giving you gardening tips. Then you listen to the two fat guys. Then you run to Ace Hardware. You get your gardening stuff that Denny suggests, and then you get your Weber grill and relax. And life is grand.
And they had to bring up the breastises. In sports, guess what? Guess what?
Reds lost?
Reds lost.
Again.
Aroldis Chapman finally gave up a run. And how about this? The Pacers beat the Heat 94-75. They lead the series 2-1. I'm sorry, folks, 'cause I'm a Heat fan, but Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, overrated. I don't care if he's Mr. MVP. When the chips are, unless he kicks it in gear and shows us something, this series is over. Maybe Chris Bosh was the indispensable member of the three. I don't care. A team with Wade and James ought to beat the Indiana Pacers. The Kings 2, Coyotes 1. Kings lead the series 3-0. Oregon Board of Education bans Native American mascots in schools. I'm telling you right now. What can you say? That's all I got in sports.
First Florence Freedom game last night. It was a big deal. Steve Jarnicki called the game. They lost.
Good job, Steve. Way to bring your new play-by-play guy, to the Florence Freedom.
8-1.
8-1. Ouch.
Back at it again tonight. They're up in Traverse City. Pregame starts at 6:50. First pitch, I should say, at 7 o'clock on Real Talk 1160.
Thank you very much. In some general news, this is more like political news than general news. I checked this out, though, folks, and I was just laughing. It's on the front page of the Drudge Report. Breitbart News obtained a promotional booklet produced in 1991. Now, TC, I'm telling you, this is going to be tough to explain. Did you hear about this?
No.
All right. He had a literary agency, Acton and Distell. Okay, so this is his agents.
Okay.
It's Obama's literary agents, and they put out a promotional booklet about Barack Obama.
Uh-huh.
And you know what the pamphlet said?
No. Now, when was this? Recently or
1991. 1991. Born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii.
Really?
Now,
it says that?
It says that. I mean, TC, you got to sit there and think to yourself, okay, where did Acton and Distell get the information? Who would they get that from?
Right.
To put the booklet together. And what's crazy is you hear all these things about this is a forged birth certificate, all stuff. But I'm a lawyer and I'm rational. I mean, it's just like anything. Like if you were to come in here, as much as I bash Obama, if you were to come in here with hard statistics to show how his administration really did improve the economy, I would concede it. I do. I'm capable of conceding things.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know how anybody could just simply say, well, it's a bunch of balloons. Well, no, here's the real questions. Acton and Distell, where did you get that information to put that out there?
And that came out in 1991.
In 91, so he's not thinking of the presidency. He's not even,
I want to take a look at that. I'd like to read that booklet.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, now, here's the question. Let's say, for example, this is proof positive. The President of the United States was not born in the United States. He's not a natural-born citizen. He's got another 9 months. What do we do? I mean, do you repeal every law that he's signed over?
TC, that's a great question. Very insightful. And the answer is, I don't know. And if he didn't voluntarily remove himself, there would have to be a court action, I think an original action that would be filed in the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And the United States Supreme Court would have to have some kind of it say, hey, review that. But I would guess that from a practical standpoint, I don't think we'll see that happen.
Right.
Now I could see this happening. That somebody would make a legal challenge and want to say, hey, he's not eligible to run for re-election. He shouldn't have been president the first time around.
Ah, okay. I see that.
But it's a great question. I cannot imagine them undoing everything that he did because it was passed by Congress.
Right. But now think about this, too. Something like that would be tied up in court for years.
Oh, yes.
For years.
Yes. We come back, more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
7:49. If you have to be at work in 11 minutes, you can take us with you. Listen to us live online. Just go to realtalk1160.com and click on Listen Live to Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Dieters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. That's my favorite AC/DC song. Quote of the day: speechers measured by the hour die by the hour. Thomas Jefferson. Today in history, we just have some fun with this. Rhode Island in 1652 enacted the first law declaring slavery illegal. They were ahead of their times.
They were.
Napoleon Bonaparte, 1804, proclaimed Emperor of France. 1897, Dracula, published for the first time.
Really?
Yes, Dracula. 1917, the United States passed the Selective Service Act. Yikes.
The draft.
I didn't have to go to Canada, man. I wasn't drafted. 1933, Tennessee Valley TVA Act signed by FDR to build. By the way, there's an example of a government program that did some good.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm capable of saying, hey, that was worth doing.
Hey, what about a bridge project? That might do some good.
Yeah, why don't we pass the Tennessee Valley Act 2?
Yeah.
1934, Congress approved the Lindbergh Act, which made kidnapping a capital offense, as it should be.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. TWA, 1934, began commercial service. People don't realize that Lindbergh was involved in that. 1977, this is the anniversary of the Beverly Hills nightclub fire.
Is it really?
164 died.
Wow.
Ugh. I remember I was a kid that night watching it on the news. I was like, whoa. 1980, Mount St. Helens blew its top. 60 died.
That was on this day. I remember
on this
that.
day, 1980. 1983, that's boring. 1998, Department of Justice in 20 states filed antitrust case against Microsoft, which meant nothing. Today's famous birthdays, we have 3 worthy of a birthday celebration from us. Tina Fey is 42.
Happy birthday. Her legs are 19.
George Strait, who is 60, looks like he's 45. And John Paul II, the great Pope.
Really?
His birthday today.
Well, happy birthday. George Strait's probably had 60 hits, you know?
Yes, he has. He was the king for a long time.
Yeah.
Fortunate to report, no military deaths to report. And our feel-good song of the day, we have to just let it rip here. This is for Donna Summer. I was going to play Reflections, but I've played Reflections for a feel-good song before. So TC would say, Bulldog, we've already played Reflections. So here's Donna Summer. We know everybody out there in our age group at least danced to this at the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Burgundies.
You remember the movie Thank God It's Friday?
Yes. Funny.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Funny, 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 funny.
And there was that young girl that was trying to get the DJ to play her song.
Yes.
And he kept blowing her off, and finally, at the very end, the last song was this song.
Beside me. So sad. Too young. Her music will live on, though.
Now, see, we're building up to the feel-good part here.
Yes, it is. This is pretty downer right here, you know. But here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Here's the part where everybody puts down their drink and runs on the dance floor. Don't do that.
White guy dancing in the studio. Alert, alert. TC claims he plays a guitar, but I think he likes the drums better. He's an air drummer to all these songs.
I was a drummer in high school.
Were you?
Yeah.
Look at, is that Richard Pryor? Look like Richard Pryor.
That's from the movie, isn't it?
With all due respect to like Whitney Houston,
Yeah.
who could sing, you have to admit, unlike Whitney Houston, Donna Summer had a much longer career.
Yeah, she did, didn't she? She had some strong hits going into the 80s as well.
Yeah.
One of the few to survive the disco craze.
Yes. By the way, I'm one of these. I love rock.
Yeah.
I like country. I like disco music.
Why not?
What was wrong with people bash disco? Are you kidding me?
It was feel-good music.
I'm telling you right now, we all enjoyed going out there and dancing.
Yeah, we
did.
did.
The Lighthouse was the spot. Remember the lit floor, the different colors, silk shirts. Oh my God!
There was one night.
I sound like John Travolta. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Oh my God! You spilled it all over my white shirt, my white suit.
Silk shirts.
And don't sweat in them, man, because they'll stick to you.
Yes.
They'll cling to you like a conviction on John Edwards. Whoops! Did I say that out loud?
Well, the first state to ban fracking, TC. We're so versatile. We go from Donna Summer and disco to fracking.
Yes.
Vermont is the first state to ban fracking. They don't want to get on the big energy thing. The heck with them. Jeremiah Wright on the Obamas. This guy, Ed Klein, has 3 hours of Jeremiah Wright just ripping Barack Obama.
Well, yeah.
He said, church is not their thing. It was never their thing. I mean, he's just getting his revenge, baby.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And you know what's so funny is, all the Republican Fox News, they're all promoting the heck out of what Jeremiah Wright has to say about Obama. Now they want to be. Right. It's the old saying that the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right, exactly. Jeremiah, come on over.
You watch, Jeremiah Wright's going to end up on Hannity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And after all that bashing, he's going to say, well, Jeremiah Wright, I don't like what you said about America. Tell us something about Obama.
Now, wouldn't this be a setup if he did get on Hannity or on O'Reilly?
And then he turned to ground.
Yeah,
baby.
Oh, let me tell you about the Obamas. They're great people.
I don't like what the things I heard Jeremiah Wright say from the pulpit, but I will go ahead and say a positive thing about Jeremiah Wright. He's not a fool, and he's smart. You don't get in the position that you're in being dumb.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Jeremiah, I might disagree with his attitudes about America, but I'm not going to accuse Jeremiah Wright about being stupid.
Right.
I might be disagreeable. Get this, the FAA predicts 30,000 drones in operation in U.S. skies by 2020. That's a bunch of crock. We don't need drones flying across spying on America. I mean, come on.
No, we need them spying over there.
Exactly.
Not here.
TC, what's the girl that you've been talking to? I don't want to blow anything else. I don't want to blow. Okay, we don't want to blow anything. Because I know you might be working on more than one. I don't want to get you in trouble there.
What girl? There's no girl.
Ryan Hart, 14. This is disgusting. Earmuffs. Wait a minute. We're on radio. We don't want people to earmuff.
That's right.
Was eating a roast beef sandwich when he bit into a piece he described as particularly rubbery. He spit out the item, which turned out to be a part of a finger. All right, I'm not going to eat Arby's for a week and make sure they get all the fingers.
Right. Now, you think it was hard to find out whose finger that was?
No, they had prints. Get this. A Utah school called Davis High, I'm telling you, not making this stuff up, was fined $15,000 for accidentally selling soda during lunch hours. Money from the Fine Arts program will cover the fine. Are you freaking kidding me?
For selling soda?
They got fined for selling soda accidentally.
What? They're not allowed to?
Apparently they're not. America is going in a handbasket. Prosecutors released evidence Thursday in the case of George Zimmerman, including the photograph, blah, blah, blah. And then, get this, the eyewitness. People wonder why the local cops didn't charge Zimmerman. They said the eyewitness was on top, said that Martin was on top of Zimmerman going wham, 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 MMA style, which kind of explains maybe the two black eyes, the broken nose, the busted head.
Yeah.
Apparently Trayvon was just a wailing. Now, again, the official Bulldog position. George Zimmerman was a jackwagon for being the head of the Citizens Group with a gun. He should have just let Trayvon Martin walk through. All right, that's my position. However, Trayvon Martin's beating the hell out of that guy, and George Zimmerman thought he was going to die. Shooting him in the... Maybe could he just shot him in the leg?
Exactly.
You know? I'm straddling the fence on that one, folks. I'm sorry. I feel sorry for the kid. Zimmerman was a jackwagon, but I don't know.
I think Zimmerman was just embarrassed that a 17-year-old kid was mopping the floor with him.
Bingo! On Real Talk 1160. Eric Dieter's the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Federal authorities have indicted Christopher P. Gunn, with 2 N's, 31, for posing as Justin Bieber online. He was promising young girls backstage passes and free tickets in exchange for sexually explicit images and videos of themselves. Is that hilarious? He posed as Justin Bieber, and young girls sent him everything he needed to see. That is too hilarious. The John Edwards trial wrapped up. The defense asked the jury to distinguish sin from crime. Now we'll see what the jury has to say. The Roger Clemens trial, 5th week. 2 members of the jury panel have been dismissed for sleeping, leaving 12 jurors and 2 alternates. How do you like that? Is that not funny? I think it's funny. People are falling asleep. You know that's when you know you're going to get a defense verdict, is when the jurors are falling asleep during the prosecution's case. They're like, oh. That's terrible.
Let's go.
JT, you're on Real Talk 1160. We want to give you the opportunity. By the way, this is the JT Stewart, who is the right-hand man of Rich Franklin, and they have an event that they want to promote, and we said call in and promote the heck out of it. So go ahead, JT.
Eric, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, we're producing the one-man Pete Rose show. It's actually a 1.5 man because I'll be on stage as well. But it's basically at the Belterra Casino tonight, 8 o'clock. And if you're a baseball fan, if you're a Pete Rose fan, you got to be there for this event. It's the world premiere. It's going to be a great time. It's Pete, basically, we're going to turn the showroom into Riverfront Stadium. It's going to be, we're going to throw out the first pitch. We're going to sing the national anthem. It's going to be just like being at the ballpark. And then Pete's going to tell stories that probably he's never told before, because I'm going to ask questions that he's never heard before.
Well, I guess what this is, 8 o'clock at the Belterra, and Pete Rose is going to tell stories about his upbringing. I saw it in the newspaper where he's going to discuss growing up, his dad's influence, baseball stories, all the way through to today, correct?
Yeah, and we're actually going to talk about the hit. It'll be a very good, emotional time if you're a baseball fan, if you want to relive. And in fact, we're using the phrase, we're turning it into a field of dreams. It's a field of memories.
I want you to ask him this question. Back in the day, who did better on the ladies' front, Elvis or Pete?
Well,
I think Elvis and Margaret. Did Pete ever have a date with Ann Margaret? Will you ask him that for me?
I'll ask you that. I'm not going to ask you that on stage, but I'll ask you backstage.
TC, do you have a special song for us?
Pete Rose music there.
Hey, listen, this is Pete Rose song, JT. This is the Pete Rose song by Sam Morrison Band.
Oh, my gosh.
I need Bruce Springsteen to do the song of Bulldog Nation. I wonder if Bruce would do that for me. JT, does Rich Franklin have a song?
No, yeah, he's got lots of hits, but not songs.
What's going on with Rich Franklin?
Rich is actually in Singapore right now. I just got a tweet from him, and he is in Singapore training for his July 7th fight at the MGM Grand in Vegas. And so he's gone to Singapore because his opponent is a guy named Kung Lee, who is a kickboxing specialist, and there's a lot of kickboxers over to Singapore, so he's going over to get some specialized training.
All right, one more time, JT, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury what the event is tonight for Pete Rose.
The event tonight is Pete Rose, one-man show, actually 1.5-man show, recounting his baseball life and celebrating the career that he had. If you're a Bulldog Nation fan, if you're a Pete Rose fan, a Reds fan, baseball fan, it's going to be a great time. Belterra Casino tonight, 8 o'clock. Be there, be square.
All right, JT, thank you very much. Good old Pete.
A good time. Charlie Hustle.
And I just want to say this now. I'm not laughing at this because, well, I am a little bit, because it's terrible and funny at the same time. There was a study out, and I'm kind of shocked it's this low. 10% of prisoners are sexually abused. Now, the Huffington Post reports that the Obama administration ordered federal, state, and local officials Thursday to adopt zero tolerance for prison rape as it issued mandatory screening, enforcement, and prevention regulations designed to reduce the number of inmates who suffer sexual victimization at the hands of other prisoners and prison staff. Now, you say, why are you chuckling, Bulldog? Well, first of all, I think prison rape is terrible, but why does the administration, why would anybody have to adopt zero tolerance? Isn't there already zero tolerance? I mean,
As it should be.
Do they basically not have zero tolerance? Hey, it's okay, man. As long as we keep it numbers down to 10%, we're okay. We're satisfied with those numbers. That's messed up, TC. Wasn't there already zero tolerance of prison rape?
Apparently not. We want to keep it under double digits.
Let me see. Seeking to attract Democrats and independents who supported the last Democratic president, Romney was taking to lavishing praise at every turn on Clinton's boom era 90s policies while contrasting them with Barack Obama. I love it. This is crazy. We have a Bill Clinton out campaigning for Obama, but the things that he says we need to do are in contrast to what Obama's doing. And now you got Mitt Romney saying, yeah, I like what Bill Clinton has to say. This is too bizarre. Very bizarre. President Barack Obama hosts world leaders this weekend at a pair of summits. I think these summits are a big waste of time, TC. Let's have a summit.
Yeah.
To represent the first test on how upheavals among major economies stand to influence global policies on issues with Afghanistan, war, and national budgets.
What about that meeting about the unemployment situation?
I don't know.
That's the meeting we should be having.
Why don't they have a summit about that?
They should.
Romney touts Bain's Capital saving of a steel company that today employs 6,000 people. Take that, Barack. The House votes by a vote of 303 to 113. It killed an amendment that would have ended combat operations in Afghanistan.
Why?
You know, like, what the heck? What were these 303 people thinking?
I heard one guy this morning say, it's just not that simple. As much as we'd all like that to happen, it's just not that simple. Why not? 88,000 troops.
It's insane.
It is.
Where do we have 80,000 troops in Afghanistan?
Why?
Where the heck are they? Gosh. Oh, TC, my mind's going to blow up. Mitt Romney raised as much as Obama did in the month of April.
Oh, yeah?
That's kind of interesting. High-paying jobs that don't require a college degree. Radio producer.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I forgot.
This is what they said. Number one, executive assistant, average salary $44,000. Insurance agent, average salary $47,000. That's all they make. Dental hygienist, $68,000.
Whoa.
Web developer, this guy's overpaid. Average salary $76,000.
Wow.
Video.
$76,000.
I need to go buy a camera.
Magazine.
Online advertising manager, $87,000.
Yeah.
Hope my lawyers don't hear this. They're going to start quitting on me. They get more than that.
Now, what country are we talking about here? Oh, this country.
Yeah, this country, apparently, TC. I don't know, man. You going to go become an online advertising manager now?
I guess I should. Now, these are high-paying jobs that do not require a college degree. Huh?
Correct.
Okay.
Other jobs that don't require a college degree, garbage picker-upper. I don't know. Walmart sales and profit rise reported a 10% rise in quarterly earnings. This is like earth-shattering news. The riskiest places to swipe credit cards. Gas pumps, outside ATMs, and restaurants. Duh.
Yeah.
Every time a gas pump asks me for a receipt, I say no.
Really? You don't want a receipt?
Nah, I don't want it. I'll drop it or something.
No, I can save every receipt.
Warren Buffett made good on his promise to buy more newspapers. He just bought 63 daily and weekly newspapers in the Southeast. Newspapers are going down the toilet, and Buffett's buying them. He's a smart man.
Buy low.
Buy low, baby. Buy low. All right. We have the big news today in the economy, of course, is Facebook. And it's going off at $38 a share. And then it's going to go, I would predict it'll go up 40s, 50s, 60. We come back, we're going to talk about Facebook. I put in for 100,000 shares this morning.
Good luck.
I'm going to turn them around, dump them, make a few bucks, get out, get in, get out. We come back, Facebook on Real Talk 1160.
Stick around for Mike Huckabee, the Huckabee Report, coming up at 8:30 here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Dieter's the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Listen to this words of wisdom. Yeah, baby. Facebook, here's what's going on, folks. IPO is called an initial public offering. And initial public offerings in the past, since 2008, they have been down considerably. Recently, they've made a comeback. Some experts have saying that they, quote unquote, the stock market needs more product, which means more companies that go IPO. And there's some exceptions. When you are as big as Facebook, that's different than a small company trying to raise capital as an IPO. Facebook's total market value is going to be more than Ford and GM. It's going to be more than Hewlett Packard. And I mean, you're talking more than Amazon. I mean, this is huge. And they, at $38 a share, the whole company is going to be market capped out about $104 billion, I think, is what it is. Now, you're going to find this really interesting. I mean, this company was owned by a handful of people, and, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, the majority owner. The investment banks that are handling this, and Goldman Sachs, I think, is the lead on this, they've already given their money. They've already written the check, so to speak, to the people that have the stock. Let me give you an example. Facebook, the corporation that owns Facebook, which is a privately held company, Mark Zuckerberg and company, they already have shares in the company. It's privately held. When you take it public, what you're doing is you're putting those shares out there. So they are, in essence, selling their shares to the public. Now, they can hold on to some of their shares, and they will. In other words, Mark Zuckerberg is going to own a lot of the company, but he's also selling a lot of the company. If they didn't sell the company, there wouldn't be an IPO. And a small IPO, like, for example, I have yet to be able to talk my dad and my brother into doing an IPO for Snappy Tomato Pizza, which I think we should do. And they didn't like the idea of the regulation that's going to come from an IPO. And, you know, you have to file stuff for the SEC and all that good stuff. And the Sarbanes-Oxley made it even more complicated because the compliance provisions to do initial public offering are burdensome. Well, they've repealed a lot of that. But let me give you an example. Like a Snappy Tomato Pizza went public, we could still hold 60% of the stock. It would be on the public market. But we could own it, and you'd sell 40%. You still control the company. And people say, well, what's good about being privately held? What's great about being privately held? You don't have to listen to all these regulators. The biggest benefit of being a publicly held company is the ability to have a liquid market for your shares. For example, right now, Snappy Tomato Pizza, which I'm the second largest shareholder, well, if I wanted to sell my stock, I got to look around and I got to find somebody to buy it. And not too many people want to buy stock into a privately held company because they're not going to control it. I'd have to look at, okay, hey, Dad, you want to buy my shares? Or one of my brothers or Dave Meenick or somebody who also owns some shares, and you want to buy the stock? Well, if it's publicly traded, it's just kind of like you call your stockbroker and say, hey, I want to sell some shares and raise some cash. It's liquidity. So, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, when all the stock that he can get rid of it quick. He can sell it if he wants. There's a market, and that's the good thing about it. And also, if you manage the company well, you can increase that market share, that value of your stock, and sky's the limit. There are rumors out there, and it's all based on advertising. In other words, Facebook has to make money by advertising. General Motors this week did a big announcement and said, hey, you know, we're not making any money. We're not going to spend our $10 million anymore. Now, I think that's ironic because guess what? It's on the eve of the IPO. If I was Facebook, I'd be mad at General Motors. And you have to wonder, does this come down from Obama? I mean, is Zuckerberg supporting Romney? I don't know. But anyway, here's the point, is the fact that allegedly they make $4 per Facebook users right now on advertising. Rumors have it to support $104 billion, they got to increase that like $100 per person a year. In other words, they have to figure out how they can sell advertising up to $100 per Facebook. There's a lot of advertising to sell. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what some experts are saying. They also say, I mean, just think about this, that if you started paying, like if they said, okay, $10 a month to be a Facebook user, I would keep using it. I would keep using Facebook. But there's a lot of people, young people, older people, a lot of people, they wouldn't do it anymore. So they claim that they're not going to do that. That would be the death knell of Facebook. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't think it would be. And I think you got to figure all that out. Let me give you an example. Let's say Facebook calculates that they would lose half of their users if they charge $10 a month. But by charging $10 a month, the value of their company goes to the roof and their income goes through. I'm saying, see you half the customers. I mean, these are all things that you have to assume that the CEOs of these investment bankers that know. Now, this is another fascinating part about the Facebook IPO. The investment bankers that are bringing the stock to the public, they're controlling that market. And they're gobbling up the shares. They're calling their best customers, hey, you want. So not every individual right now can call in and buy stock. I've been working through an investment banker, and that's why I've got 100,000 shares that I'm buying. But not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go out there and buy a share. And for now, as soon as the market opens, and by the way, I think this is neat, they're going to trade as FB. I mean, everybody knows Facebook, the initials FB, and they have that on the stock exchange. But this is going to be interesting. It's going to make, I understand, 1,000 millionaires. In other words, people that own stock right now in Facebook, there's going to be like 1,000 millionaires. There's going to be some billionaires created, including Mark Zuckerberg and a couple of his other founding partners. There's a neat story about the one guy that's played in the movie. I think he is Indian. He is apparently going to live in Singapore and is revoking his American citizenship to save like $67 million in income taxes when this deal goes down.
There's no capital gains tax.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess, is it worth going to Singapore to make $67 million? Maybe.
I don't know. You get caned in Singapore.
You get caned in Singapore. And let's face it, he'll just come to the United States as a visitor, I guess. But this is fascinating. This is everybody uses Facebook, so I think it's almost like a neat time to teach people about economics because you have so many users.
Right.
And did I explain? I mean, I thought I explained that in nice, simple terms, what an IPO is all about.
I got you. I followed you. You stayed within the Laverne and Shirley limits.
Laverne and Shirley rule. By the way, I like to brag. Yeah, it's one of the neat things about my ability. I know a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I will bet you that other talk show hosts in town are not capable of explaining what I just explained.
I'm sure they're not.
By the way, I'm being serious about Snappy Tomato Pizza. Get this, TC. We have like nearly 100 Snappies that are company-owned or franchise-owned. Guess how much debt Snappy Tomato Pizza has?
Zero.
I think like 100,000. I mean, it's as good as zero. We have no debt. We have this revenue royalty stream that comes in. By the way, go buy a Snappy Tomato Pizza today.
We should have Snappy delivered here in the morning.
I can tell you the balance sheet that we could show potential investors working with an investment banker looks really darn good. They're like, holy cow. I could get filthy rich overnight. And I could buy 200,000 shares of Facebook stock instead of 100,000 shares. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Dieters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Having fun on the radio. TC, you never know how life twists and turns on you, do you?
That's true.
I mean, for example, when I was in law school, dear old dad had the largest corporate law firm in northern Kentucky. I took securities. I took corporate law. I took tax law. I took all these cases, all these classes.
Did you put them back?
Thinking I'm going to be being a corporate attorney. And my first job as a lawyer, I think people will be interested in this. My first job as a lawyer was doing commercial lending documents. We represented some banks, and they're lending like big time money. And I want to tell you something. I'll never forget as a young lawyer, I was only 21. I remember doing these documents, and we're lending these small businesses millions of dollars from these banks. And we were preparing the loan documents. I was working with Jim Dressman. He was the partner I worked under. And I was just like, my God, I'd rather be in business than being a lawyer, these guys. And I did that for a year. And then the lawyer that was handling our collections department, which was collecting money for the banks, the hospitals, and the businesses, I think he kind of did a lousy job or something, but he left. And I took over that. And I did such a good job in that department. I got a pretty good raise. But after 2 years of doing that, I lost my edge. I was like, you know what? People can't pay their bills. I'm sorry. Some of these people had like health problems and they couldn't pay their bills. And you
showed a little compassion.
I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, man, if I had cancer, I wouldn't worry about my hospital bill either, And I just lost my edge, and I said, man, I got to get out of this, and I did. And then this is funny. This is really funny. They opened up an Independence office, and I went out there with my brother Jed, and it was a general practice. So I did a little bit of everything. No partner supervision, no mentoring. I started trying cases without any lawyer. Like my first DUI trial, my first criminal trial, my first civil trial. I didn't have a lawyer that was teaching me. I just went in there and did it and learned it myself.
Fake it till you make it.
And what's so funny is from the time I was a young lawyer at 21, I never had a single client be concerned how young I was. I don't know what it is, and I'm blessed with this. I think I get it from my dad. My godfather was telling me and Chuck Holbrook and Brad Amster some stories about my dad when he was a young lawyer, and we were laughing because it sounds like me. Some people just project confidence, and even when I was a 22-year-old lawyer, I never had a client says, do you know what you're doing? Man, I walked in the courtroom like I knew what I was doing, whether I did or not. And then by doing, you learn. Well, I also got involved in politics, and this is kind of funny. For like 3 or 4 years, I really wasn't a lawyer. I was a politician. I was the chairman of the Republican Party, the chairman of the 4th Congressional District. I was running campaigns. I didn't really practice law. I did politics. But that taught me a lot, too. And then I headed up. Then they said, well, we need to build up our personal injury department. And that's when my life shifted over to doing personal injury work. And then one of the things I got frustrated at the law firm is they defended that they represented the hospitals. I couldn't do medical malpractice plaintiff's work. And I was like, man, I want to do that. And that was part of the reason why I left, that I could have more freedom of what I do. But how funny is that? My dad is the big corporate law firm, and here I am an ambulance chaser.
Someone has to do it.
Kind of interesting in it, how you evolve. And I was chairman of the Republican Party, and now I'm an ambulance chaser.
Which is more fun.
Which is a paradox. It's a real paradox, because I still hold these conservative Republican principles, and I am in business. I know what it's like for somebody to fake a slip and fall and want money. Because, they do it to our businesses, our Wendy's or our Snappies.
Teach me how to do it.
It's kind of... So I'm a paradox. I like it that way. Paradox. That's a cool word, isn't it? Paradox.
It is. It is and it isn't.
Yeah, I asked to come in today Mark Epley. I met Mark Epley, and he's now my partner who handles Ohio domestic and juvenile relations. And by the way, every client I've sent to him loves the guy. Mark, do you know that the people give good reports about you? They say you don't suck.
I take that as a vote of confidence from you, Bulldog.
When I hire somebody, I'm famous for just saying this: don't suck. So if you don't suck, that means you're good. So, Mark, I want you to know that nobody that I've referred to you... Mark, the reason why I asked you to come in here today, and I always like to make it relevant, it's not just self-promotion, but if you need a Ohio domestic relation, call Mark Epley. But anyway, Mark Epley, I got to ask you this question. What are you seeing out there as a domestic relations attorney relative to the economy? In other words, how long have you been a lawyer?
I've been in practice for 6.5 years.
All right, during that 6.5 years, so you were a lawyer pre-2008 and now, do you have a perspective about what's really going on out there in the economy, in the trenches, as a domestic relations lawyer in the state of Ohio?
I do. I think there are two key issues that we can address, and one of them is the issue where the economy being so bad, people are forced to move to a different state or to relocate, either up north to kind of the Cleveland area or somewhere within the next, counties over. And as a result of that, it's kind of causing some animosity between the two parties because now there's an issue as far as visitation of the children is concerned. The other issue is that for some reason people want to believe that if you don't pay child support, that means that you don't get a visitation with your children. And in the state of Ohio, that's not correct.
Well, based on what you're seeing, you dodged the question. What a lawyer. What a lawyer. My question is this. Is the economy out there, what you're seeing from a domestic relations attorney, is the economy worsening or improving?
I think the economy is slowly getting better.
Really?
I do.
Ohio, that's statistically correct. I mean, John Kasich's Ohio is much better than the Ohio that he inherited. What I always hated about doing domestics is the drama that gets transferred to you. I mean, it's like their drama becomes your drama, and it drives me nuts. But one of the things that I always feel bad about is, the economic toil. Like, for example, a couple gets divorced. What couples don't realize is, and it cracks me up, if you get divorced, your world's getting cut in half. Your assets are getting cut in half. Your income's getting cut in half. It's amazing how some people get divorced and they think that things ought to be better. It is guaranteed to be financially worse for both parties if you get divorced. True?
That is correct.
And child support and maintenance, if you've been married a long time, you've got those obligations besides dividing up the assets. And then if you're a man or a woman, and we represent some women that make more than the men and vice versa, if you're the man or the woman that makes more money, not only do you have to pay for your own household, you're still helping pay for the old household, and it's hard to make them happy. In fact, I want to say I would rather represent women than men in a divorce because I think women are easier to make happy than the man he's just going to complain all the time. Ma'am, like do the John Travolta. If Kelly Preston is serving divorce papers, here's what John Travolta would say.
Oh my God, I'm broke. Oh my God. Got one and a half. Oh my God.
He does the Travolta. Need a Travolta. See, you went through divorce.
Cheaper to keep her.
Exactly.
Cheaper to keep her.
And
hands down.
And national statistics show that there's a lot of people that during the bad economy in 2008, 2009 put off divorce for that reason.
Yeah.
And there's people that get separated, stay in the same house because they're like, hey, let's go our separate ways, but man, we can't afford to separate.
Right. Yeah. There was one little sentence in our divorce papers, and the wording was just wrong, okay? And when I realized it was too late, and it cost me a fortune. It really did. I won't go any further than that, but it cost me. It was just the wording was wrong. One little sentence.
Here's the great. I just handled a case where I represented two parties. I'm not going to tell you what the case is, and their divorce decree stated something about the case, but it wasn't right. And I'm having to deal. You know what I told these people? You talk to your divorce lawyers. That ain't my problem.
Right.
Mark Epley, if it's getting better, do you think a better economy, do people stay married or do they get divorced?
I think more people tend to get divorced in a better economy. And the reason I say that is because money is financially there and people feel more of a sense of independence in which they feel that they're obligated to take off. And so as a result of that, I think people tend to get more divorce in a better economy.
I want to give everybody some good life advice here. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to marry your high school sweetheart. I want you to stay in college and work really hard and get a really high-paying job. Neither one of you ever cheat and live happily ever after.
She married another guy.
Don't you think that's good life advice? Marry your high school sweetheart, work and make a lot of money, never cheat, and stay married forever.
I don't know. You miss out on all those college co-eds.
Gosh, TC's just always... Mark Epley, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Sir.
You need an Ohio divorce lawyer, Mark Epley's the guy to call on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, if you missed your daily dose of radio superbity, don't worry, the Bulldog has you covered. Bulldog Nation podcast up and running now at realtalk1160.com. And now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
Eric Dieters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Do we have any update about the green water situation in New Jersey?
As far as I know, they say the water is still safe. Apparently, the check we wrote the EPA did clear, and they said that the water is safe to drink.
How did that check clear?
I do not know. But
It's a miracle. It's like the loaves and the fishes.
Not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I mean? What's it from the archives?
Can you imagine the authorities saying that green water coming out of your tap is still safe?
Green Water Distributing and
Who listens to that? Who says okay?
I trust the government. They're here to help.
It's incredible.
Danny McEwen always says it's favorite oxymoron. I'm with the government. I'm here to help.
Right.
So the government says it's safe, and you can see it. I saw the video, and you can't see it so much in a glass of water, but if you fill up like your sink to wash your dishes or fill up the bathtub, you can see it. There's a green tint to it.
Right. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, you know, information is power. And as an attorney, you learn about facts, you learn about credibility, you learn about not only your own case. I mean, you just learn that the most important part of any case is the facts. Now, the law is the law. Every once in a while you try to change the law, but generally the law is the law. So each case turns on the facts. And I can tell you, for example, when you get to appellate courts, they will tell you, hello, Shannon, they tell you all the time to focus on the facts. Heck, they know the law. And in politics, when you talk about the political issues and the candidate's background and their policies, you know, facts matter. And as John Adams famously said in the Boston Massacre case, facts are a stubborn thing. I was a history major at Thomas More College, and one of my favorite teachers of all time was Dr. A. Baer. He was passionate about teaching history. And if there's one thing that I learned in history is that it helps you understand where the other side is coming from. For example, if our political leaders understood Russian history a little bit better, maybe we would have dealt with Russia during the years better than we have and did and even now. But it's always important to understand who somebody is and where they come from because it makes up who they are. I mean, I'm a farm boy at heart. Can't change that. Now, many people in this country have scratched their heads about how we in this country have dealt with Iran. If you remember the freedom students, they went to the streets and we didn't come to their support and it was put down pretty harsh. We have not taken any action to thwart the nuclear reactors that are being built for weapons of mass destruction. And you know, I thought to myself, wait a minute. I wanted to check out, by the way, this was not the issue. I'm going to make my point about Iran in a minute. But, you know, I just knew that Valerie Jarrett came from Chicago, and she's the right-hand gal in Barack Obama's administration, chief of staff, making all the decisions, calling all the shots. And I thought to myself, you know what, I want to find out more about Valerie Jarrett. And I thought to myself, whoa, this explains a lot. Do you know where Valerie Jarrett was born? She was born in Shiraz, Iran, to American parents, James Bowman and Barbara Taylor Bowman. He was a pathologist and geneticist, ran a hospital for children in Shiraz. It was part of a program where American doctors and agriculture experts sought to help jumpstart developing countries. By the way, she was born in 1956. When she was 5, they moved to London, and 1 year later to Chicago. As a child, she spoke both Persian and French. She graduated with a psychology degree from Stanford and then a law degree from University of Michigan. She married a Dr. Robert Jarrett, who was a son of a Chicago Times reporter, and they had one daughter, and then they were divorced, separated in 87, divorced in 88, and he died of a heart attack in 93. She worked as Deputy Chief of Staff for Richard Daley, and guess who she hired in 1991? Michelle Robinson, the about to become Michelle Obama, away from a private law firm. And she is very close to Michelle Obama. This explains the Oprah Winfrey issue, that after he was elected and Oprah Winfrey got shut out. And, it explains a lot. Valerie Jarrett was the mentor of Michelle Obama. They're pals. So Obama is controlled by two strong women, Valerie Jarrett and Michelle Obama, and they are very close. But I read this and I think to myself, well, I guess that explains some of our policies that relates to our... Do you think for a minute that Valerie Jarrett doesn't have a perspective about Iran that neither you nor I hold? Her parents worked there. She was born there. She was raised there. She probably has zero interest in any military action against Iran. She doesn't want to rock the boat in her native Iran. And I'm talking, this is just more of this Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, Valerie Jarrett. I mean, this, in Chicago politics, Illinois politics, governors go to jail. I mean, it is so corrupt. In fact, you know how corrupt it is? Rahm Emanuel left voluntarily the chief of staff of the President of the United States to go back to being mayor of Chicago. Being mayor of Chicago is like being the godfather of a whole city. The third largest city in the country. I mean, Chicago politics. They run the country. It's amazing. Barack Obama, man. And you read these stories about Ed Klein, about Barack Obama, and even listen to Jeremiah Wright about how Barack Obama has changed, since he became president. It is incredible, folks. This has got to be, I'm trying to think back in my American history of election presidents of mistakes. Jimmy Carter was a mistake to elect. Franklin Pierce, all the pre-Civil War presidents, man, there were some weak presidents, mistakes. But I don't think there's any question that George Bush and Barack Obama, and they've given us 12 years of incompetence back to back. But I don't think there's any question Barack Obama is the biggest mistake we've ever made as a country in electing a president. You look at the policies that he continued to George Bush, which were wrong in the first place in Iraq and Afghanistan. You look at how they have ran the economy into the ground and then continue it. I mean, isn't it amazing? We're getting close to $16 trillion, TC. $16 trillion in debt. We have a $1.5 trillion budget deficit, and everybody's just like, we'll just keep down this path. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible, isn't it?
Well, I'm not happy with it.
And you know what? People think I am not a right-wing conservative talk show. I mean, I can't stand either political party. I really can't. And Mitt Romney is not a perfect candidate. I know the Mitt Romneys of the world. They come from a group of people and a class of people that are very different than you and me, TC.
I think the best Republican candidate dropped out, suspended his campaign a while back.
That's right.
I'm not going to say which one, but...
Well, I'll tell you what I think. Our man Herman. Herman could relate to the little guy, but he also understood business from a big level.
999.
999. This is the Bulldog. Hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy this great weekend. We will be back Monday for some Radio Superbity.
And if you're going to be out this weekend driving, be sure to take a car.
On Real Talk 1160.